I'm Jason Aponte. That's Dieter Kurtenbach. This is Dieter and Jason coming to you on a Friday. Before we get into anything, Dieter, how's it going, man? I like the hat.
Oh, thanks. Hockey season's here. I'm amped. Don't look at how the Sharks lost yesterday. Don't look at it. It would be really bad for your health if you had to watch that.
Well, nobody had a worse sports day as a city than the Philadelphia area.
Yeah,
Overall.
I don't know,
And
man. Did you see how that Sharks game
no, I
ended?
didn't. I didn't. I didn't. Well, I
You
just
should
meant
see
that
how that Sharks game ended.
I'll check it out after. I just met all three Philadelphia
Oh,
teams lost in brutal fashion
poor
yesterday. And,
guys. Oh,
you know, the San Francisco 49ers wake up as the number one seed in the NFC. And
yeah.
I've got good news for Eagles fans. It gets easier to throw the football because you get 10 days to prepare for Brian Flores. So don't worry, guys. Relief is on the way. Don't worry.
There might be some relief. I'm not sure it's the kind they're looking for.
I cannot. AJ Brown is gonna lose his mind next week. It's gonna
That's
be electric.
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
It couldn't happen to a better group. I mean, at some point they might have to plug in Nick Sirianni's headset and let him coach, right?
right. I mean, hey, listen. Enjoy the tush push while you have it. It's certainly banned next year,
I you know
and
I hate that. Like
I don't want it banned, but it's banned. It's done.
yeah, no, you're right about that. I agree
Yeah,
with that. I think that it is chicken blank to ban the tush push. Like just because one team can run it and you can't, like that's
I
ridiculous.
listen. I don't hide my bias. I think you know this, Dieter.
It's fair.
I don't want it to be banned, but I will laugh my ass off when it is.
I mean, it's a big deal if it's banned. They ran it for 3 minutes and 30 seconds straight yesterday. It was about the only good drive they had.
Here's a plan for the Eagles, and I'm just offering you some free advice. Perhaps after kickoff, just run the tush push on until you get all the way down to the touchdown. I mean, it might be better than watching that passing offense operate.
The issue is there is a halftime, and it might take them the entirety of the first and the second quarter in order to get in. And that halftime, just a real bummer because otherwise you could just possess the ball the entire game like you were playing basketball in the 20s. Just keep holding on, do the four corners. Listen, I hate that they're, that everyone, ban the tush push. This is bad TV. Offensive linemen finally get a play, and everyone's response is that we need to get rid of it. Like
Mhm.
that hurts me in places that I didn't quite understood. I didn't quite understand that I could still be hurt in. Like that really, like, just give offensive linemen this one thing. Oh, they keep jumping off sides. Well, then officiate it better. You
Right.
know the play. Put a guy. You can't move the referee so that he can manage the scrum. Well, it's not football. What is football? They used to be able to declare in baseball if they wanted to pitch high or low. Was that baseball? Or is what we watch today baseball? Is that even like what is that? What is that random phrase? That's not football. No, it's just not entertaining to you, but it's entertaining as hell to me. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and maybe it's just because I'm an old offensive lineman. And I got to stand up for my guys, but my
Yeah.
goodness, y'all are getting soft. That's what I'm telling
Yeah.
you. Y'all are getting soft.
Mike Greenberg has a really good idea
Talk about
for
soft.
yeah. Mike Greenberg has a really good idea from ESPN about what should happen when the Eagles want to run it four times in a row. Almost akin to when you put up four in baseball to let them go, you just let them score. And it just like they don't even have to run it anymore. Like you just put up four, they get the touchdown, and you get off the field.
It's the softest thing I've ever heard, and I would expect nothing less from the softest man in sports media, who
All right.
just unbelievable, Mike Greenberg. We thought we knew you, and then it's like, whoa, well, you need me to be this? I'll be that. I can't do it. I don't watch ESPN anymore. Let's put it.
No, I don't either. It came up on Elon's app. But we're not here to talk about the
I
Eagles.
told you about that app.
Yeah. Gotta get off that app.
Gotta get off
But
that
we
app.
are here to talk about a very exciting game on Sunday. The 49ers and the Bucs, tops in the NFC, 4-1. Been waiting for this one for a long time. I want to ask you,
It's a nice measure.
how much defense is going to be played in this game, and why is the answer 0?
Oh, I disagree on that, actually.
Oh, really?
I think there's going to be a lot of defense played. I don't think it will be terribly effective, but I think they'll be doing stuff. I think there will be defense, and that the quarterbacks will throw the ball to the other team a couple of times. I'm not sure the defense will actually manipulate anything or have a true impact on the game, but they will be out there, and things will be happening for them. I do think that there's somewhat of a misnomer in the possible game scripts, and I'm with you. I think it'll end up being a shootout, which leads us to a question that imagine asking in 2022 in a battle for NFC supremacy. Who do you trust more, Baker Mayfield or Mac Jones?
Mac Jones.
What a world we live in. I'm sure the NFL isn't worried at all. They flex this game into a prime time or a better spot, not technically a prime time spot.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, Baker Mayfield. How do we get more of that? How do we get Jim Nantz on the scene for that one? But everyone looks at what happened with Tampa and Seattle last week, and it just turned into, a 6-shooter duel in the middle of the Wild West streets in the second half. That was 6-0 with 2 minutes to play in the first half. Like, there was defense that was being played. It actually, there was some resistance that was put up. It wouldn't shock me at all if that was the script again this week, where both teams just sell out to stop the run and the quarterbacks can't quite find the gap just yet. And that happened with the 49ers and the Rams, right? Where, it took Matt Stafford. He didn't get on the field very much in the first quarter. Second quarter, took him a drive or two, and then he's like, oh, I got it now, and just started bombing it. And maybe that's the case when we get to this game. But I do think that, there's enough high-level defensive players. Well, specifically, there's one on Tampa, and there's one on San Francisco. But between Fred Warner and Vita Vea, like, the defense has to do something, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would think so. I think this is going to come down to who makes a play on defense, right? And I have to say, Dieter, because we were talking about it, and I say that sometimes watching the film, isn't enjoyable. I had a blast breaking down that Tampa Bay and Seattle.
It was a great game. Yeah.
Oh my God, laser show all the way through and through. I mean, look, I am a big fan of X's and O's. I'm a big fan of defensive struggles. But man, do I love it when I score, you score. I score, you score. I score, you score. What a game! What a game!
Absolute darts. Again, who do you trust more, Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield? What world are we in?
And unfortunately, it was just that one throw for Darnold. It was that It was that one throw for Darnold,
and bad luck in all effects. So, listen, there's part of me that has nothing but admiration for Baker Mayfield. He's doing the absolute most as a one-read quarterback right now. His feel for the game is off the charts. It's so cliche, and I wish I could come up with something better, but like, the dude's playing with some serious moxie right now. He's in control of everything. So I got nothing but respect for him, but like, he can't do that again. Like, Baker, he can't just go out and do what he did against Seattle again, because he was one reading it, as he always does. His first read is his first read. His second read is, where am I running to?
Right.
Every time he gets the ball in the backfield, he's like, what if I do a little shimmy? What if I do some shakes? They're very low in play action rate. They are unquestionably tops of the league in just random stuff happening in the backfield, which is not a next-gen stat. That's a Dieter stat. That's a previous generation stat. I mean, I've never seen, I talked to Fred Warner about this a little bit. Like, I've never seen a quarterback who is a pass-first quarterback giving shimmies in the backfield. Like he's trying to juke somebody at the line of scrimmage as a wide receiver. He's doing that to get the linebackers to think for a half second so that one read can come open. That read is typically a Buca, by the way.
Yeah.
They run pretty basic stuff outside of the extracurriculars, where it's not even just like an orbit, but it's just, Baker faking a shuffle pass or a shuttle pass, faking booting one way and booting the other. Like, he's like a try-hard point guard on the playground right now, except it's working. Man, is it working. This dude is and one mixtaping back there, and it works. Some of the windows that he was able to throw the ball into, though, against Seattle, I think they'll be there against the 49ers. I just have a very difficult time understanding how he can get away with it for another week, because these are throws that even Patrick Mahomes, I'd be like, whoa, maybe let's pare it back a little bit there. With Baker Mayfield, and again, it's not to say that he's not operating at like an MVP level right now, early, but he's playing the best football of his life.
Yep.
And it's every accolade you can give him is deserved. But like, no, like You can't live like that. You cannot live like that in perpetuity and get away with it. He might get away with it another week. I just have a hard time seeing it. Whereas I can see Mac Jones doing exactly what he did against the Los Angeles Rams again, because that's the system. That's the Jimmy G offense. I've seen that game played 50 times in my life. And sometimes it goes great and sometimes it goes poorly. But I've seen that game played 50 times. And if Kyle's on one, and by all accounts he should be, because this Tampa Bay defense lines up kind of exactly with what he likes to attack. If Kyle's on one and the Niners can just get anything on the ground, which is a whole other conversation, I can see Mac doing the exact same thing. And now it's, again, as you said, which defense makes a play, or maybe more acutely, which quarterback makes a mistake. And that's who determines the game. I couldn't tell you. I was talking to my man, Jake Hutchinson, and we were like, okay, so one of these teams is the best worst team in the NFL, and one of these teams is the worst best team. So one of these teams is like elite, but they're the worst of the elite, and the other team is the best of the not elite. And you can choose which one that is, because I couldn't tell you. I go every 5 minutes, I'm flopping them, because there's just not that much between them. And I guess it's a compliment to the Niners that they're in the Tampa Bay zone. But if you were thinking Super Bowl or bust, the Tampa Bay zone is not where you want to be.
Right. And, it's funny because watching that Seattle film, it was all the stuff out of the pocket and all of the stuff on the run, like for Baker. And that's the part that makes me a little bit nervous about the secondary, which needs to remain disciplined on those plays down the field and, can't panic on any of those plays. Now, one thing that we should talk about, and we'll get back to the quarterbacks because I think it's fascinating because of what they struggle to stop is what Mac is good at, and they are a top run defense, and I wouldn't suspect that this is the week to kickstart this run game either. It's just really funny how this is all lining up, and Kyle Shanahan has a very good history against Todd Bowles led defenses, right? Like even last year when you think back, if the kicker makes any of his kicks, that game never really gets that close. Yeah. So I wanted to
whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know, man. Never
I heard
mind.
he had a really good game in Vegas one time, though.
I know, and that's he's accepting apologies is what I've heard. But I would.
Wait. I'm sorry. What?
Oh, you don't get that one? You don't get that joke? Chat.
No.
Let Dieter know what I'm referring to. So after that kick was made, a tweet was sent out. Jake Moody's accepting your apologies.
Who said that?
I'll let the chat tell you. I'm not a chatty patty myself on here on the chat. Let Dieter know who sent out that masterful tweet that is now in the lexicon of 49ers Twitter.
Okay, thanks, Gabe.
Yep,
appreciate
you got it. Yeah,
I mean,
you got it.
Yeah.
But either way,
apologize
to a kicker, right? So going back to kind of what I was saying is this game is it's the stuff in the secondary that makes me a little bit nervous, right? Like you just have to remain disciplined. Now we can't talk about this game without talking about injuries because my God, bloody hell,
Jason, 18 guys on the injury report on Wednesday. That's a third of the roster for the Niners.
Yeah. So
Tampa Bay's got it just as bad almost.
Exactly. So look, no Ricky Pearsall, no Brock Purdy, no George Kittle returning, Juwan Jennings maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I know. I don't think that he should play in this game.
That man has incentives. That's all I know.
No Evans, no Godwin, no McCollum, no Benjamin. Like they are down. Every single place is injuries, and it's crazy to me. So the depth chart for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to look like Emeka Egbuka, who looks like a hell of a player.
Yep.
Sterling Shepard, Unk still got it.
Yes,
Tez Johnson.
He's a squirrely little SOB.
Yeah, he is. Cade Otton. And no Bucky Irving in this game. So Rachaad White. And Rachaad White is a very solid professional running back. And he's fine.
I don't know when that happened. Because I've watched a lot of Rachaad White throughout my days. And Rachaad White was a wide receiver masquerading as a running back. And then this year, I think it's the scheme, but this year he developed some patience and some vision, and it was like, who the hell is this guy? it's kind of a pleasure to watch. Now, I will say there's always going to be a bit of a bias because he just looks different because he's like 6'1", 6'2", skinny, and there's not a lot of upright 6'1", 6'2" running backs. They're smooth gliders. So I will have an aesthetic appeal there that I can't get over. But he's a different guy this year. And frankly, when Bucky was healthy, I know that Bucky had some nice numbers as of late. But I thought that Rachaad White was the better back at every point this year.
Yeah, it's not like he was just on the bench. They were using Rachaad White.
Yeah, and I think they had good reason to. So don't underestimate Rachaad White. And definitely, I'll tell you, D. Winters is going to have his work cut out for him in this game. That's for sure. Not just with White, but with Otten. This might be a game for Big Nickel and one of your top 5 safeties in the league, Jair Brown, to bust him up off the bench. You know,
why you got to do that?
He said it.
I know,
didn't say it,
but
he said
I know.
It. I think Jair Brown's been good this season.
No, he has.
Not
he
sure
has.
He's going to make the Pro Bowl.
No, but I like my guys to be a little delusional with confidence as opposed to like
have to be, but maybe let's bring it back just a smidge.
Just say I'm one of the top guys in the league. That's cool. Like that would be all right.
Like or like put the caveat, like I have the potential to be, and you're like, yeah,
that's perfect.
You probably do, but he's like, no, I'm one of the 5 best safeties in the league. And it's like, man, you have a really funny way of showing it. Safety play must be down bad.
So going over the game plan and how this works is, the Bucs give it up underneath over the middle of the field. Sounds like it lines up for Mac Jones.
Yes.
I do think that, when we say the Jimmy G game plan, it is the Jimmy G game plan. But what Mac is doing with this game plan is protecting the football in a way that Jimmy Garoppolo never could. Like the ball leaves the screen and we're not like, oh my God, where's it going? At this time.
Yeah.
So at least that's the biggest thing is going to be, can you operate the offense? Can you keep the football safe? And I think that while everybody is like, well, Max, average depth of target, I think that was just the Rams, for whatever reason on Thursday, said we're a deep zone team and we're not going to contest any of that underneath, and you can just have whatever you want. They never moved up, and they never did anything. It's a
pretty logical game plan. They felt very comfortable that the Niners couldn't run it. And it's like, well, okay, if they want to put together 14, 15 play drives, like let them. Like you have to give up something. Yeah. Right? It doesn't matter what you have to give up something. So there's the deep shot, the underneath stuff. I mean, I guess intermediate can get involved in there too, but let's just make it simple. There's the deep stuff where you're attacking safeties, or the intermediate stuff where you're or underneath stuff where you're attacking linebackers and corners. Or you can give up in the run game. And they say, okay, well, we don't want Christian McCaffrey to get going because that opens up a lot of stuff. You can never let that happen against an outside zone team. So we're going to stop that, which they did because it's not hard to do these days. And they said, yeah, you're not going to beat us over the top. So, yeah, if you want to put together 14, 15 plays with Kendrick Bourne and Marquez Valdez-Scantling and, Ross Dwelly 2.0, Jake Tonjes, like knock yourself out. And Mac Jones is like, bet. Like, let's do it. And they did. And it stalled out a little bit. We got to be clear about that. It stalled out a little bit because they started blitzing and started getting, Mac was incapable of turning at one point, which was super fun to watch. But like the same argument has to be made here. Now with Jimmy, you'll remember they'll give you the intermediate stuff. And then in the second half, they'd say, okay, beat us over the top. And he couldn't. Yeah. They couldn't take away the run game. So they just take away the pass game because we're gonna clog up the go light box and this and that, which is why you had to run the ball really effectively because that was the thing that was available to you because they just weren't going to let you get beat by the pass. With Mac, there is no run game, so you're just out there slanging the thing. But that over the top stuff isn't going to be there, so it's just about ruthless execution. And I do think that maybe we've been lulled into a bit of a false sense of security here because Mac did have an outstanding game on Thursday. Where he did not put the ball in danger at all. That's not to say that in the prior 2 games he hadn't been putting the ball in danger. And he threw an interception where he's like, oh, yeah, that was dumb. That was his explanation. He's like, oh, I don't know what that was.
Or what is it? He didn't do anything but catch it.
Yeah, he didn't do anything but catch it. I threw it right to him.
Right.
It's like, okay, listen, you're a backup quarterback. You can get away, but kind of not anymore.
Right.
So you're the man. on a team that's competing for NFC domination, and like, sorry that you just became the most important guy at work and it's ruining your life. But like, dude, like, maybe don't throw it directly to the other team. I know that's, ridiculous. Everyone's going to have mistakes. Even, Mahomes and Allen throw mistake balls. Like, I'm not saying he has to be perfect, but he kind of has to be perfect.
Yeah, he
because
does.
there's not a lot going on here. So he can't be giving the other team anything. And I just don't, listen, Levante David is going to the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best to ever do it.
Ever.
Unk
He's cooked.
Does not still have
He's
it.
cooked. He's cooked.
And then Servassier Dennis is a really cool name and not a very cool player.
Right.
Servassier. And I had been imagining it like the cognac or whatever it is. No, yeah, it's SIRVOCEA. Servassier. As someone with a unique name myself, let me just say, you're kicking my ass in that department, Servassier. The Dennis family had it on one. We're on one that night, but he's not very good. And I do think that was the biggest takeaway that we should be maybe carrying over game is the Rams defense. Okay, secondary is super questionable, but like kind of boomer busty. Defensive line is unbelievable.
Yep.
Like so good across the board. Even second unit players are really, really good. But those linebackers, they kind of suck. And for 7 years, it was all about how is Kyle going to ruin the linebackers' lives on the other team, because that was the Jimmy Garoppolo offense. And with Brock, we've kind of gotten away from that because that's not the offense. The problem is we're back in that offense and we haven't fully readjusted. We haven't, to like taking off your sunglasses when it's a bright day. You haven't gotten your eyesight quite right yet. And that is exactly what it is. And it's lined up really, really nice for Mac Jones in that, like, the Saints, brutal linebackers. Yeah, Demario Davis was just standing there just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I haven't been put in this kind of conflict in years. There was a couple plays where he just stood there because he didn't know what to do. He's a great player, but Unk does not still have it.
Right.
The Cardinals were just like, oh, well, we just blitz with our linebackers all the time. And like, that was not awesome for Mac Jones, but it did make the game planning a little bit easier in that there were no linebackers. So it's like kind of made it harder, kind of made it easier. You knew it was up there. And then in this past game, Jake Landman, like, whew, that was a tough game. There's a reason that he was on the street for nothing. Now, he's a really good player in the run fit. They have really, they're really good in the run fit. That's half the game. And they were just put in conflict, and you just saw those acres of space either in front of them or behind them. And all you had to do was put the ball in the right spot because it was just run for days if you want. George Kittle would have gone for 200 in that game if he had been alive. And this game lines up in the same way because I don't think that Tampa Bay is going to be in a position where they can blitz because of their secondary. And this is a situation that I would argue the Niners are in too. They don't trust their secondary enough to be able to bring the kind of heat that you need to bring to make up for the fact that you're not really getting home.
For sure.
I think both teams have that going on. And so it really comes down to which linebackers are going to be better in coverage and which ones are going to take away that intermediate pass game. And yeah, I'm going to take Fred Warner and D. Winters in that against pretty much anybody in the league, but especially against this duo in David and Dennis, who are just stone foot. I mean, they're out there just begging to be spun around. So it's just about which quarterback does the fewest dumb things. I was about to say something that would have gotten you demonetized. Which of these two quarterbacks is going to make the most consistently correct decisions because the opportunities will be there consistently for them. And there's a world, and in fact, I think we might be in this world, where Mac Jones is the more reliable of those two options. I think that the home field advantage is something to where I'll actually go with the Bucs in this game, just if I had to err one way. But I think it'll be tight. I think it'll probably be a little bit lower scoring than maybe people are making it out to be, and I do think Mac throws a couple away. Just because, has he thrown yet this week? I mean, literally, when was the last time he threw a football? Was it Thursday? Was it last Thursday?
Well, to be fair, he's saving the throws for Sunday. Dieter. That's exactly
That's
what
not
you
how
want to hear.
throwing works.
I mean, it's what he said.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, whatever you got to tell yourself.
You know, after
I'm saving my good column for Sunday too. You know.
Yeah, and I'm saving my best podcast for the instant reaction.
I mean,
You
that
know,
goes without saying.
yeah, but you know what's funny? You know, after Mac Jones is helping with a murder investigation before a game on Thursday, and
Yeah.
I don't really put anything past him at this point. But I want to ask
I
you
put
this.
a couple things past him.
I want to ask you this: over under
Hmm.
27 touches for Christian McCaffrey in this game.
That's a great question. Under.
Okay.
I think Tampa Bay is effective enough to where they can prevent the ball from getting to McCaffrey 28 times in a game. I think that the run game is going to be so ineffective that they might. So the issue that I have with the run game is twofold. One, I mean, they're just not blocking. Okay?
Right.
I mean, that's the easy explanation. The second aspect of it is they can't sequence their blocks at all. So the handoffs have been awful in the zone scheme. When they get to the outside, the guys who are supposed to be setting that edge have failed repeatedly, whether that be Tonjes or Dwelly, who I believe was paid a large sum of money to do that and has failed.
You mean Farrell?
Farrell, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
He's playing like a Dwelly.
No, but I hope Ross Dwelly knows how much we miss him.
I like Ross Dwelly. Nice guy.
Yeah, me too. He's fine.
Jake Tonjes is better. Like Juice has been abysmal. Juice has
I don't
been
know what
rough since that game in New Orleans.
What would you say you do here now, Kyle?
Yeah, it's a meeting with the Bobs for sure with Juice. And makes it makes that offseason saga all the stranger. It's like, remember when you knew that he was done, and then you're like, I guess we'll bring him back.
But Dieter, it's like I told you, I identify man and zone coverage, okay? I assist in the run game. I have people skills and qualities.
Yeah. That is shockingly accurate to what he would say. I have people skills. Yeah.
But
I haven't interviewed Juice in 2 years on purpose. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is this. Look, it's clearly abundant that this is not going to be the week for this to go. And I think what you said is really truthful. Is when the run blocking is good by the offensive line, a tight end or a wide receiver fails them. When it's the other way around, or whether it's and one more thing, when Christian McCaffrey picks the wrong, read,
that's happening too. But
yeah,
that's one aspect, is that the offensive line is failing Christian McCaffrey, and that Christian McCaffrey has clearly internalized that to where he has no feel, no touch, and he won't admit to this. I've been trying to get him to admit to this. I'm not trying to put anyone on the spot. I just want someone to tell me the damn truth on this matter, because it's impossible to ignore when you watch the tape. I think he knows that if he doesn't run headfirst into the ass of his offensive line and take the 2 or 3 yards, that he's going to get tackled for a loss.
Yep.
That he does not trust that patience will pay off in the run game. Now, there is part of me that wonders, a guy who hasn't played any serious amount of snaps in like over a year, right? Because I don't remember, last year it didn't feel like he ever got the feel back. Mm-hmm. So we're coming back from like 23. Is he in a position to feel the game out the same way that he did? Does he have the same top end speed, that burst when he does decide, okay, patient, go, which is how great running backs operate? Does he not have that go like he used to? So now he can't be as patient. And I'll note that Thomas Morstead has more 20-yard or 20-mile-per-hour plays this year than Christian McCaffrey. Just a quick note. And then the other aspect of it is like, yeah, I mean, is there just a level of pragmatism on, I need to take the 3 because it will be -3 otherwise? I don't think Christian McCaffrey is exonerated, is what I'm saying.
Right.
I would like to, at some point, see, and I'll just take a single play where Christian McCaffrey waits. And we've seen maybe some patience a little bit, but it only turned into about an 8-yard gain. I'm thinking about the left outside zone run against New Orleans. I think it was second quarter going right to left. That was as good of a run as he's had this season. It was like 8 yards. I'm not looking for 20. I'm not looking for 40. I'm looking for patience, letting the block set up, lining them up, and then zap, go, explode. And even if a safety or a linebacker comes in over the top and gets him, I'm talking about seeing that just boom, which is definitive Christian McCaffrey. It was, Deebo Samuel at his best had that too. Foot in the ground, one cut, go. And I haven't seen it yet. And until I see that, yes, all of the issues with the offensive line are paramount. But now I got to be wondering if you'd be almost better off just putting in Brian Robinson more often, because I know he can run. I know he can run into the ass of his offensive line. That's what he's brought. That's what he's done his entire career. And I think he can get you 5, whereas McCaffrey's getting you 3. And if that's the best your run game can do, then use McCaffrey as strictly a gadget and get Jordan James in there or get Brian Robinson in there just, again, to play fullback, and you're doing fullback dive, because I know Juice can't run that anymore either.
Yeah, and that's the thing is we did see a little bit of Brian Robinson and Christian McCaffrey on the field, and the way to maximize McCaffrey, I don't want to be one of those, well, whatever. I love saying I told you so, but all offseason, Christian McCaffrey has to fully embrace the Deebo Samuel role, and they have to put him in that role to maximize what he can do. Receptions are far more valuable than rushes, and if you're needing him to carry this, well, I mean, I think, from a normal football, standpoint too, I think you can do more with those.
I'm not sure about that, but okay. I'll hear you. All right.
No, I just think that in the way to maximize him, because you are having these problems and you do need him so much, and the way to get him in space, like you want to have him one-on-one against the linebacker trying to tackle him, or a corner trying to, or a safety member coming up. Like, that's the way that you keep him healthy while also leaning on him. Like, the idea.
I got to stop you. We got to stop with the how do we keep Christian McCaffrey healthy conversation.
Okay.
It's got to stop. It's done. It's over. He's never going to be 2023 Christian McCaffrey again. So what does it matter? Like, I don't mean to be, nihilistic about this, but this idea that you can go in to any season of NFL football with any part of the back of your head saying, how can we stay healthy, is automatically defeatist. And I know that clearly Kyle Shanahan doesn't believe in how do you keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. Clearly he doesn't. He is correct. Every player in the NFL is here for a good time, not for a long time. Some more so than others. Longevity is a fluke. It's a total fluke. Joe Thomas, DeForest Buckner, it's a fluke.
Frank Gore,
it's a fluke. It's inexplicable. It makes no sense. You can't try to recreate it. LeBron James, EPO aside, it's a fluke. It's a fluke. You cannot bank on it. And it's inherently capping possibilities if you have in your mind, we got to keep this guy healthy. I understand why. I don't think anyone's wrong in presenting that it would be better if this man plays more than he doesn't play.
Especially because he's the entire offense right now, basically.
Right, but what kind of an offense do you have if you're not allowed to actually... What's the point of having the sports car if you got to drive at 25 miles per hour the entire time? That's not good for the car. You got to open her up every now and again.
Or only on the weekends.
Only on the week. I mean, luckily that's when football's played, and it kind of ruins the analogy. But it's like people who don't put creases in their Jordans. Well, then don't wear the fucking shoes.
Well, there's ways to keep
you're
the creases out of it.
You're gonna walk around like a penguin for your entire life.
This is my expertise here. You can keep them creased. You just got to make sure you put the inserts back in them when they're done and everything. That's that's the way that you keep them.
My Jordans. What are you gonna sell them after you step in dog crap?
Well, no. I mean, once I wear them, I'm never talking about that.
That's what I'm saying. I guess that you want to keep your shoes looking good. There's a difference between taking care of something,
right,
and then making them precious. And again, this is kind of a moot point. I'm arguing with nothing, because the reality of the situation is that Kyle Shanahan neither considers Christian McCaffrey precious or really cares much about maintenance. But I'm gonna defend him. He's right. He's right. You got to squeeze every ounce you have out of every guy you have every week. And if they're not squeezing you enough, if they're not trying to get more out of it, it's because you don't have it. They see you 6 days a week before we do. Like, it's part of every conversation when it comes to Christian McCaffrey. Well, how do you make sure he stays healthy? How about you get him to look like Christian McCaffrey again, and then we worry about, how we maintain that. But how about we ramp it up? How about we get to fifth gear again for the first time in 2 years before we worry about how we can make sure that he can keep getting in fifth gear? Like, right. It's I don't know why that bothered me so much. I'm sorry.
No. Hey, listen, Dieter, go off, man. I love it. I wanted to ask you this, and the other thing is too is the whole 25 mile an hour thing. I was like, Usain Bolt runs 25 miles an hour. I don't think there's ever going to be a chance for Christian McCaffrey to run that fast.
Thomas Morstead ran 20 miles per hour on the chase down of the Washington punt. Christian McCaffrey has no 20-yard rushes or 20 miles per hour rushes this year.
But nothing but respect for my specialists, and this is a big specialist podcast.
Do you know what he told me when I told him that? By the way,
what?
I told Morstead, you actually were the fastest 49er today at 20 miles per hour, and he goes, "Oh, that's not good. Something went horribly wrong."
Well,
and to that I agreed because they did in fact lose that game.
That
Christian
is
McCaffrey used to give you 5 to 10 20-mile-per-hour rushes a year. Right. And he's never had that long speed, but between yards, 10 and 30, you'd be like, oh boy, this guy is cooking. And he wasn't able to ramp up to it at any point last year, which is to be expected. But the fact that he hasn't gotten there this year, it can't just be the offensive line. There has to be some give and take there. It is jazz music. You have to feel, you have to react. Maybe it is just the offensive line, but he's got to prove that. He's got to find a way to prove that, because when I watch him, I see a running back that's tentative and just rushing, because I think he knows that he doesn't have that same pop he once had. He can disprove that point. The offensive line can obviously disprove that they suck at any point. We'd all be for that, because I hate watching bad offensive line play. It's driving me crazy this year. Yeah. But it takes 2 to tango on this one.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. It's if it's not the offensive line one time, it's him choosing the wrong hole. Pause. And if it's not that, then it's a wide receiver or a tight end that's like missing a block. Like this, this whole run scheme has just been out of sync altogether. And it's not
Kyle Shanahan offense.
Right. No, and you know what was insane? I was talking with a bunch of my buddies. Obviously, I live in Jersey, so the Giants-Eagles game was huge. And our group chat, and one of them was saying, hey, look how well Saquon's doing with an offensive line. And I showed them the two teams that are at the bottom of the NFL for stuffed run rate, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers through 5. And you can't even make that up. If someone would have told you that earlier in the season, you'd say there's no chance of that happening. That's exactly what is going on. But I want to ask you, because we've talked about this a few times. Malik Mustafa's back, and it seems like, he's ready to go.
We'll see about that one. I think that Malik Mustafa is always going to look ready to go, because he operates on like the Wolverine level.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm not sold.
Let's operate under the assumption that he is going to be one of the reinforcements that we've been promised that we're getting back.
Yeah.
Is there any more maligned 49er right now than Marcus Siegel on either side of the ball? Maybe Connor Colby?
Both of them are being maligned. You have to.
Well, just because everyone's afraid. Oh, they're picking on Siegel. Oh, and then when Malik comes back, who sits? And we've talked about this. I think it's still Jason Pinnock who sits, even though Marcus Siegel, he's getting picked on. By the way, getting picked on, like, that throw to Tutu Atwell that was, Stafford roll. That is a one-of-one throw. There's not a safety in the world that would have been able to stop that play from happening, with Stafford rolling out and throwing across his.
Yeah, if you can make that play, you're playing cornerback.
Right. And the thing is that throw was from one side of the field to the other, and it was literally, and Tutu Atwell crosses his face, and you're going to blame Marcus Siegel. So look,
it was awesome.
I guess
it was such an awesome throw.
Yeah, I jumped, and I jumped out of my seat watching it, because obviously Amazon has the best view. You were at the game, right?
You have to watch it on mute. Well, no, I didn't go to LA this time.
Oh, okay. So Prime Vision.
I'm watching on Prime Vision.
Yeah. So the ball goes up. The ball goes up, and I'm like, oh, that's out of bounds. And all you just see is Tutu Atwell just running under it, and it's like awesome. but when Robert Saleh says we're going to go through the bumps and bruises, that doesn't mean when Malik Mustafa comes back, we're going to take off a guy of this defense that we feel is going to be the guy moving forward. That's why I feel like Jason Pinnock's sliding and nobody's saying anything about him. Everything's about Siegel and what he's giving up. I just don't think it's been that bad. Am I tripping?
It hasn't been bad at all. It's been actually quite good. Now his issue is he doesn't have ball skills. He's in position.
Yeah.
When has he gotten burned? Burned. Has he gotten dunked on? Oh, yeah.
Yes. I haven't seen the back of his jersey, right? Like, I haven't seen him, chase.
He got the back of his jersey.
Yeah, that's him trying to, that's change directions.
Yeah, I mean, Ed Reed, maybe. That's about it. I mean, it's like the greatest coverage safety of all time. So, regardless of safety is such a difficult position to evaluate because 95% of the people talking about the position don't watch the position, and that's not a knock on them. They don't have access to the information because it's not on your television.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to keep a very close eye on safety. I'll say this. Let's remove the is he good in coverage or not? I would say that he's halfway there, and I would much rather have to teach somebody how to play the ball than have to teach them how to get into a position. What's the first rule of defense? Get in goddamn position. Well, he's in position. Now he has to learn how to play the ball, turn his head around, all these things. Those things I know can be taught because I've seen them be taught. Diamador Lenore got taught them. So that's that. He's clearly an asset in the run game. Let's just put all this to the side. Robert Saleh has used Siegel in so many different spots. He's a rookie. They rave behind the scenes about his mental acuity, that he's not just a sponge, but he asks good questions, that he's just a very high football IQ guy, really high. Like, you don't hear that about people unless it's like off the charts, because everyone has a certain level of football IQ to make it in the NFL. Some guys have less than others, but most you got your master's degree in ball. He might be a PhD as a rookie. So they rave about that. I think your point is perfect. You're not going to take the rookie out on the basis of, well, it's not going as hot as we wanted it to. You're not going to ruin the kid's confidence. That's how you end up with a Jair Brown. And now you don't have a top 5 safety in the NFL. So, sorry, that's the last time.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But I will say this. I think that the logical thing to do for the San Francisco 49ers now and in the future, the best move now and in the future, is to play Mustafa next to Siegel.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're going to do that because Pinnock does a lot of communicating on the back end. And he has clearly taken on more of that from Siegel in recent weeks, from what I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Pinnock is also kind of a disaster class.
Yeah.
And you will never unsee the little shimmy shake, Baker Mayfield shimmy shake he gave ETN on that run. What the hell was that? No, 7 points is what it was. But my guess, as it stands today, is that they'll have Mustafa on some sort of a snap limit anyway, and that they're going to do a very funky and probably detrimental 3-man rotation for a while. That would be my guess.
Man.
I disagree with it, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Man. And, you just wonder, the effect of having Mustafa and like you said, because Siegel's triggering downfield really well in the run game, sometimes a little closer to the box, sometimes single high, sometimes, like you wonder if Mustafa can take on some of that and it'll allow him to play a little bit freer. But I like the reason that, other than the fact that like watching Pinnock is just like, there's nothing really inspiring here on there, is I know what Pinnock is. And I'm not going to cap someone's ceiling for someone that I know who he is and he's already played his best football and we know what he is.
Right. Yeah. Now, yes, that is the logical explanation. And then there's the larger term ramifications to take into effect on confidence and where you want to go. And like, no one's expecting Jason Pinnock to be a kind of player that hangs around another week. Certainly not another, next year. He's not going to be on the 26 Niners. So what are we doing here? And it's all about the 26 Niners. I know that some people don't want to hear this. And no matter how much I tell them, They don't want to hear it. And they just go, well, they haven't out and said that, so it's not true. Okay. Well, I'm sorry you can't read tea leaves, and I'm sorry you don't talk to the right people, but they're all about 26. And once you know that, once you hear that from the right people, you hear it everywhere. You hear it everywhere. They're all about 26. Anything that happens in 25, and it's not to say they're not trying, but everything that happens in 25 is about setting themselves up to be the best and contend for a Super Bowl in 26. And if they so happen to just win the Super Bowl this year, which doesn't seem terribly out of the question, even though it takes a little bit of a logical leap compared to previous editions of this squad, well, that's awesome, because that makes it really easy to win the Super Bowl again next year, which is really what they're about. So what is the best scenario for 26? Well, it's making sure that Malik Mustafa and Marquise Siegel have a rapport and understand where they can go against. Because I'm not sure it's a perfect fit. I'm not. I think they're both probably strong safeties. And I know that that's not really a position anymore. But as it stands, unquestionably, Siegel would be the free safety of the two because of his athletic ability.
Yeah, he's
in
fast.
terms of coverage. But he's not very good at actual free safetying, right? Because he doesn't have the ball skills. So is that the match? I don't know. I guess they're going to have to find out the hard way. And again, I think that your point is very accurate in that maybe not having to be everything all at once can be freeing for him. And now he can focus a little bit more on just playing the ball. And that frees him up. But I mean, that is unquestionably one of the most important things happening to the 49ers this week and this season is, do they have two young safeties that have all-pro potential? Because I really do think Siegel has all-pro potential, and I know Mustafa has all-pro potential. And maybe we pare it down and just call it Pro Bowl. But even so, we're talking about really, really good safeties.
Top five safeties?
Well, I mean, the bar's pretty low there, apparently. I thought the number was the bar, but
Jair Brown is somewhere just like, what did I do? But okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
What did you do? You said, okay, so here's the history of the Jair Brown thing. Jair Brown has said things like that to me before. Okay. Yeah. I talked to Jair. I used to talk to him quite frequently. And I like Jair. I think he's really
a great young man too. Yep.
And I thought that there's a lot of potential for him at safety. I'm fascinated by safety play. I learn a lot talking to these guys about safety play. It's not a position that they ever put my fat ass at. So, and I think it's kind of destiny. I mean, I constantly say safeties are destiny. So, yeah, I really do focus in on it. So he would say things. It was never top five, but he would say things like, I can be one of the best. I can do one. It's like, yeah, you know what? You need to have that confidence. You need to be able to believe. And there was a moment when it wasn't totally ridiculous, but I would never put it in a column because I always thought it was picking on him.
And you're setting him up. Yeah, you're setting him up.
Taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, I am not going to in any way impugn the reputation of Eric Branch, who did put that quote in his column or his article, because that's fair game. Yeah. I made a decision, and maybe I'm just projecting my anger at making that decision here. But when that goes out and it's like, dude, yeah, there is a line. You went over it. I mean, to the point where even Branch can't be like, I got to put this in. I mean, it's too good. Yeah. It's too ridiculous. He doesn't play like one. Jair blames the 49ers for the stalling out of his career. If I just stayed with Wilkes, I would be X, Y, and Z and this and that. And it's like, dude, no one's actually keeping you here, and yet you want to stay around here. Like, you could have said, hey, release me. The Niners would have gladly have done it at two different points in the past calendar year. They didn't, because they thought, well, we can figure something out here. He's got enough talent, all this. So, like, yeah, why am I going in on Jair? Because it's like, dude, you got to have a little bit more self-awareness. People were trying to help you out, and you couldn't even accept that help, which I would argue might be the overarching issue with Jair Brown, which is they're not being mean to you. They're coaching you. Yeah. And maybe you need to pull back a little bit on the ego, which isn't fully deserved yet. You're on a rookie deal as a third-round draft pick. Maybe we pull back a little bit and have a little bit of self-awareness and realize that they're trying to help you, and not stymie. It's the Jonathan Kuminga problem, except Jonathan Kuminga I know can give you 30, and I don't know what the hell Jair Brown can do.
Right. All right. about 49 minutes in here. We'll do like 10
Yeah.
more minutes, Dieter, you know, and
Okay.
everything. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Dieter's channel, man. There's no way that Dieter's channel should only have 2.9 or 3. Like, that's undervalued. Like, that's such good
That's fine
content
because
over
we
there.
get paid, baby.
Yeah, I mean, but it's such good content, guys, and you know it. You
We
guys
just
that
want
are
you to be
watching
a
this.
member. That's what we
Yeah,
want.
for sure. Now, I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't ask you about why Trey Hendrickson hasn't been traded here, or why the 49ers haven't traded for Max Crosby. I'm being sarcastic.
I know
You
you.
that.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
you are. I know you are, but you're the perfect vessel to play that game on me. You're
Oh,
so good
yeah.
at that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, chemistry can be found, and you know, the more and more that we do these shows, I
I'm
understand
picking
what
it
makes you. I understand what makes you tick, and I understand. Look, you know, this is part of my charm. You know,
you
you're
got it.
the
You got it made, baby.
you got the X's and O's, and you got the football knowledge, and you got the guy who's really, really good at poking and prodding. So,
Get that in there.
yeah. So, you know, I've said that I don't expect the 49ers to make a move like that. You know, I think it's, again, you're talking about Arden Key, you're talking about Miles Murphy, you're talking about guys of that ilk that'll just, you know, slide in or whatever.
Jason, who the hell is Miles Murphy?
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. It's
I
gonna
don't
be
know who that is. Who
so
does he
it's
play
gonna
for?
he plays for the Bengals. So everybody wants Trey Hendrickson, and it's gonna end up being that guy.
Y'all are looking for pieces of the Bengals defense? That's a thing
Listen.
that you're looking to acquire?
What it is it's going to be somebody that they make a trade for that you're going to say, what did this guy do? And they're going to say, we loved him in the draft process.
Yeah.
We love, you know, we loved his acumen. He's got a high motor. Like, it's going to be one of those guys. But you know, the whole Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson thing, man, it's just
it's flipping planet. By the way, you know, I just made a Kuminga comparison. Like, y'all got to stop trying to make the NFL the NBA. I know that y'all got your Luka trade with Micah Parsons. Like, I get it. Like, there are some parallels here. You got the diva, you know, you got AJ Brown out here, you know, why me, all this stuff. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't comparisons. What I'm saying is you should stop doing your part to tie these two together. How's the NBA doing for y'all? How's it all working out? What happens when Steph and LeBron go? Y'all feel great about where the league's going to be from that point on? Y'all feeling good about the NBA long term? Don't try to turn the NFL into the NBA. It can do it itself. Don't get me wrong. Don't try to help it out because you're not going to like the end product. That is all-time unintended consequences if y'all just keep trying to, you know, Max Crosby. They just signed him. They just signed him to a long-term deal. They're not going to now trade him. Now, listen, I will say that the Bengals probably should. I don't know if they will because it's the Bengals, but they probably should trade Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah. But
the 49ers aren't going to acquire him.
They're all in because Joe Flacco's in town.
They went from the 32nd best quarterback in the NFL to 31st. And if you just give them another 3.5 years, they can get top 10.
And honestly, the one thing that I will say, which is very smart about this, is if that offensive line is bad, no reason that Joe Flacco is going to have any issues because he's very much known for his mobility.
Exactly. I mean, did he get a say in this?
Well, I'm sure that he's.
I think he said yes. I mean, because he said that he's not going to be a backup anywhere. Like, the only reason he came back to the Browns is because he was going to be a starter. Well, then they benched his ass.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, well, what's the other crappy team that I can go play for where I can be a full-time starter?
And look, at the end of the day, Joe Flacco, and I don't know him, I'm just making shit up here.
No, feel free.
I think he's just a dude who wants to throw footballs, man. He doesn't care about any of that. Like, he's like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. You're not gonna change him at the end of the movie. He is who he is at this point. The guy just wants to get in there and throw some damn passes to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
He's the NFL's all-time quarterback. You need one, I guess. You know, it's kind of like how the NFL has the kicker list. Am I not supposed to tell people about that? How the NFL keeps a list of kickers for when you need a kicker. You don't have to like actually know anything. You just call up the league office and they give you the list of names of kickers with some stats and stuff. It's a book.
So, you know, they don't scout kickers. And no
NFL teams don't do any of that.
Don't piss me off, man.
I'm telling you, they don't.
I know, but you know where I'm going with this.
You know, Clint Boyer might, but like, why do you think Kyle keeps bringing up that Eddie Piñeiro's percentage is so good? Because that's the only reason. They literally sort it. It's the same way that Adam Peters just sorts by did play for 49ers when he builds a team. It's like, yeah, I know that guy. It's like a high school reunion for Adam Peters every day at work. And then the 49ers are called up the league office, got the spreadsheet. Actually, I don't know. It used to be literally a one page. I had one time. It was awesome.
Wow.
And then I heard it's turned into like sort of a thing, like a book or something.
Nice.
They get it. And I think they just sorted by kicking percentage. Who's the best one? Sort by kicking percentage. Not wrong. And in the juice ball era where Eddie Piñeiro's kicking 59-yarders, probably very smart. Yeah. But why do you think they keep bringing it up? They're not talking about like his swing. They're not talking about, no, they're just saying, oh, he makes the most.
Well, the thing is,
ball good.
The thing is this. So the point about Flacco is,
yes, yeah, they have a list. It's just Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
you need a quarterback, you call up the league, and they just say, oh, here's Joe Flacco's number. He's available.
I know Zach Taylor's not involved, or like it's not his call. Like if the Bengals want to trade Trey Hendrickson, it's not like they're gonna call Zach Taylor and be like, "Hey man, what do you think?"
Yeah, but they haven't done that once in his entire career.
But he's fighting for his job right now, man.
Yeah,
and
that dude does not want to sell insurance again.
No, he doesn't, and it's hard to envision this thing going all the way up to the trade deadline, and then finding out that another team isn't just jumping in on like. If there is a way that they are going to trade him, and there is no guarantee that they're going to, the 49ers aren't the only suitors. And the Bengals aren't just going to be like, hey, you know what? Just because you guys asked, you got him. You can take him.
They're not going to Jimmy Garoppolo him, where they call up Kyle, and it's like, you have 2 hours to make a decision. This is only an offer to you. Yeah, Paul Brown's not making that call to Jed York. It's like I have an exclusive offer. The way I do my fantasy football trades,
I give you a handsome quarterback. You give me a high round pick.
That's exactly right. And I guess the Niners came out ahead in that, but it did. Yeah. Kyle, I'm sure, cried himself to sleep that night because it meant that Kirk Cousins wasn't coming.
Kirk Cousins was not coming. That ended the Kirk Cousins. That is so good. Yeah,
they wasted an entire year on Kirk Cousins, and they ended up with a Jimmy Garoppolo. So that's a life lesson for y'all.
It's a ripple effect. We like Butterfly Effect is an overrated movie, but it is a real thing.
Oh, you actually saw the movie?
Yeah, back in the day. Ashton Kutcher. I mean, it's just the ending. The real ending is
prefer sliding doors for the movie analogy.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. That one works.
My point is merely like, not just will the Bengals trade him, right? Which is in some level of question. But then you don't think that Washington, who's trotting out the corpse of Von Miller, is going to be like, hey, we got a quarterback on a rookie deal, and
we want to win now.
And we want to win today.
And Philadelphia's looking bad?
Yeah. Like, here's a first-round pick. Or, probably like a second and 2 fours or something that amalgamates into a late first. And, like, Bengals have no responsibility to do anything but take the best deal.
Of course.
Which might not show up. It might not ever reach that level. That's their responsibility. So, I'll tell you flat out, the San Francisco 49ers, and Kyle said this. He said this the other day. John says it the other day. How do we make sure that we maximize today without jeopardizing tomorrow? And you might say, oh, well, that's what everyone says all the time. No, they don't. No, they don't. Very few teams in the NFL ever talk about tomorrow. Very few. You know who does? Teams that have had their focus on 26 since the start of 25. That's who talks about that. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Because let's just go into a little bit of the time machine here. Let's think back to a team that was contending for the Super Bowl last year and lost their number one pass rusher in the Detroit Lions. Injured to high heaven, theoretically great coordinators. Like they felt like they had a shot last year, right? Mm-hmm. Probably a better shot the year before, but they felt like they had a shot. And they're like, I don't know, let's go out and get a Zadarius Smith. How'd that work out? What'd that do for him? Is Trey Hendrickson really going to – like, I know that Trey Hendrickson is good.
He is.
I don't think Trey Hendrickson's great. I really don't.
Well, it's – again, and you know what? I think you're going to pick up what I'm putting down here. He's got a high motor. He's scrappy.
There's something about him. I don't know how to put my finger on it.
He's scrappy. He's got a high motor. He brings his lunch pail.
Listen, no one has watched more FAU football than Dieter Kurtenbach. And you think I'm joking. I covered FAU professionally, and I watched all their games even after I stopped covering them because I had connections to the school. I know Trey Hendrickson.
Mhm.
I think that he is, kind of to use the paradigm that I threw out there earlier, he's the worst of the best or the best of the worst. But he's right there on that cusp. And you're looking for a Nick Bosa replacement? Nick Bosa's elite, unquestionably. There's no stain on his game. Like, Nick Bosa's 10 out of 10. And he's not Myles Garrett, but, like, come on.
What do you think
Carl
about
Granderson, I think Carl Granderson's washed, frankly.
Bradley Chubb?
I'm willing to hear a Bradley Chubb because you know that it's just a short window. But again, okay, that's the thing. It's all about the cost. And Trey Hendrickson, because he'll be the best available player, is going to cost as much as an elite player, right? It is a seller's market of all sellers' markets. I don't know what Bradley Chubb would actually cost, because there's a world, and it's probably the most likely universe that we're in, where Bradley Chubb shows up, immediately gets injured, and never does anything. Like, that, it kind of sucks. He's just a Chase Young situation.
Can I ask you, this is the one
But
that
he's
I
not going
think...
to cost a lot.
No, he won't. He won't.
He shouldn't.
This is the one that I think is interesting. Although, after the win last night, who knows what the Giants are thinking? Kayvon Thibodeau. Now...
I don't understand. I don't understand why people think that that's going to happen.
So here's my thought process here. You look at him; he's very young. It seems like the Giants have an abundance of defensive linemen, because they do, and they're struggling right now to fit all those guys in. Like, I've been seeing Abdul Carter playing far too much middle linebacker for my liking. I don't like that. I don't think that that's the best use. But
I think it's fun.
I think, you know what I think is fun? Is trading for someone that everyone says is cost control for 2 years, and then when Kayvon Thibodeau gets here, he holds out on his 5th-year option, and he doesn't want to play on it because he wants a new contract.
No one trades guys on their rookie deals unless they're complete busts, and Kayvon Thibodeau is not a complete bust.
He's playing very well this year.
You trade Brian Burns if you feel so confident in your defensive line situation, because he's expensive and declining. That's who you trade. But the Niners can't do that either, because he's not good enough to warrant the cost, either money coming in or draft pick going out. You're getting double taxed here. That's the other aspect. Yeah. Now, I don't give a damn about Jed York's money. He makes more than, buy all the soccer teams you want, but they have a cash cap limit. They're not going over 315, and they're at like 309. That's a number that is out there. They're not going over that. They haven't. They won't. That's the number. That's what you get to operate on. Now, luckily, that's still one of the highest numbers in the league, but there are teams that are pushing 400 this year because, hey, they're going for it, and you got to spend money to make money, I guess. And I'm sure that the 49ers can afford to push it as high as they want, but there's certainly not going to be a player that is going to justify that so like Hendrickson makes sense because he's really on a 1-year deal.
He is.
And so now you're paying that, which is less. It's prorated, all that. But now you're paying the capital. Now you're paying the tax, the tariff, whatever. Brian Burns, you got multiple years left on that deal. And I'm sure you can get out of it, and there's wiggle room. But there's dead cap numbers. There's cash considerations. And you're paying the tariff.
And you don't think the Giants view him as, like, one of their foundational guys, like, still, like, even if you're not, I don't think that he's declining as rapidly as you believe he is. I think it's just,
I was just bringing it up as a hypothetical. I don't think they're going to trade him. I'm just
saying, no.
You're trading one of the two. You trade the old one.
You trade for the older player, right? But because it just feels like, with the way that the Giants are operating, that Thibodeau's going to get a deal somewhere else, and they're going to have to recoup something, so they might as well get some picks for him. I don't think that because they have Carter that's going to be cheap, because they're locked into Burns. Dexter Lawrence has how many more years?
You don't do that now. You do that this upcoming offseason.
When he asks for a new contract because he won't play on his 5th.
Correct. And you just go, I don't flip it. No, let's get a second rounder for him. Yeah. And someone will give it to you at the draft.
Oh, yeah.
It might be the Niners. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was never that infatuated with him coming out of Oregon.
No. I wasn't either.
When we're at a point where we're like, okay, Max Crosby on one end, just totally ridiculous and empty-headed and NBA Twitter brained. And now it's like, and just throw it like, what about Thibodeau? Like guys who don't get traded, like under any circumstances, guys who are on controllable contracts who might not have performed to first round standard, but are still good, players that you can start in this league.
Yep.
So there, how do we justify, oh, he's good enough for the San Francisco 49ers to replace Nick Bosa, but for the New York Giants, he's garbage that they need to get rid of at the discount?
Well, it's because my team has a need, your team has a player, and you have to help me because it's your duty to help my team get better.
I mean, it's also like preposterous at that position. It'd be one thing if for some reason you had, and maybe the Niners find, two quarterbacks that can both win you games, despite the fact that it's pretty much a systematic thing, and that's a whole other conversation.
Oh, baby. Yeah, we don't have time for that one.
No, is Mac Jones worth a second-round pick to another team? Hope they run Kyle Shanahan's system. I mean, maybe the Vikings are interested. I guess it's nice that the system is proliferated to this point where everyone can get in on it, but defensive linemen rotate. There's no reason. If Kayvon Thibodeau was expensive, that's another conversation. You got to get off that money. This isn't worth it for us. He's not. He's on a rookie scale deal. So just rotate him and then keep your young guy fresh, and maybe not play him at middle linebacker so much, but
I don't like that. I don't like that either. I don't like that either.
It's just get ready to speak Arden Key, buddy.
Yes, and that's what I've been, Dieter. That's what I've been saying this entire time. That it's gonna be get ready to learn Arden Key. Could you imagine what a 49ers defense would look like with Arden Key? It would be amazing, right? This is what you've got to prepare yourself for. This is the type of player. This is the type of.
One could say that he's the key to victory.
Oh man! All right, we're gonna end the show on this one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. No, Dieter, thank you, man. I appreciate you as always for joining, man. It's always good. I love it, Jason. And make sure you guys like this video, subscribe. Also, subscribe to Dieter and Hutch and become a member, please. Become one of the sickos, please.
Or don't. Do whatever the hell you want. We're just out here.
Yeah. I'm fully locked in on football because baseball is a stupid sport and it's not real. So, you want to check on my content and Dieter's stuff as well, too. But Dieter, tell them what else you got going on.
Yeah, I'll be on KMBR tonight, theoretically. We got all the columns in the Mercury News, at Dieter on the Twitter machine, and then mute everybody else and only follow me.
100%. This is good. This is good advice right here.
You're gonna get good Sharks takes, Giants. If you need San Francisco sports and you need it 4 hours after everybody else, because I don't log on very often, have I got a guy for you? Yeah, and you'll get jersey takes and why you shouldn't be wearing football jerseys as well too. But yeah, you shouldn't. You're a grown ass man. They make clothes for adult men that have logos on them. You should wear those. Oh my God! You know what? I mean, the more and more the chemistry builds here, the more and more I know what button to push to set you off. To be fair, a lot of surface area for buttons and a lot of buttons. Now, I will say that most people don't figure out that you can press them. You got that part covered. Yep. But I can't give you that much credit because your boy is covered in buttons. I'm covered in them. Listen, the veteran is guiding the rookie, and the rookie is now learning as he goes along, right? You're going with the bumps and bruises. The veteran's going to lose his mind. The veteran's not coming. No, I always have a blast. Apparently, I'm a masochist. That's what we're finding out here today. Nah, dude, I appreciate you so much, man. I know your time is valuable. Everybody enjoys the show as well, too, man. It's really always good conversation. Guys, I'm going to be back at noon your time, 3 o'clock. Me and Andrew Pasquini, Sprint Right Option. We're going to go right into 49ers Bucs review. There's not enough coffee in the world that's going to keep me going, but we're going to get this done. All right, guys. So, we'll get out of here on this one. Make sure you guys follow Dieter everywhere. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Always go Niners, and we'll see you guys in a little bit, and we'll see you on the next one.